I want to go over a couple of quick things as far as some things that are happening in the news. This is something that I did actually last year, and it got a lot of views on YouTube. So I figured I would do it again. It seemed like it was something that was interesting. So after we did it, we posted it, and it seemed like there was a lot of people that watched it based on some of the emerging trends and the things that are happening in real estate. As we are, of course, it's January, it's a new year, and we want to kind of see where are things going, because those of us that are active in the business are wanting to get active in the business. We are going to make certain decisions in what we do with our money based on where we see the market going. And so I just try to kind of lay some things out. This came from basically a survey that was done, and you'll see it at the end. I think it's the Urban Land Institute, but they did this emerging trends survey where they asked 750 active real estate professionals their opinions of the market, where things were going. And there's a number of them. If you want to read the full report, you can do that. I just highlighted a couple of them that I thought were important for us to know as real estate investors in our area. But basically, well, first one here, and you know, this may apply or not to you, but I just wanted to make sure I pointed these out. Younger buyers and single-family residential. One of the things you've heard me say, and this has pertained to a lot of news stories that we've even discussed over the last couple of years, is that millennials in general, statistics have shown that millennials in general have not been real excited about buying any kind of a property, okay? And the reason was because they lived through the Great Recession. And so they watched their parents lose their homes. They watched their friends' parents lose their homes. And so they had a bad taste in their mouth just about home ownership in general, foreclosures, the heartache, and the things that came from it. Well, as we know, time heals all wounds. And so eventually they're now starting to get to a place where they're wanting to buy a home, and not just a condo or something trendy or what have you, but are wanting to buy single-family residential. The statistics are starting to show that. But the thing that's interesting about that is we're also seeing what they're calling an amenity arms race. And so if you have been around any of the new construction of multifamily, you know, new apartments that are being built, the amenities that they're putting into some of these things, and they're just increasing it even more, you know, with communal gardens and dog runs and movie theaters and co-work spaces and things that you would never be unheard of 10 years ago in an apartment. And the reason is because they are now seeing that they are competing with the single-family residential buyer, the millennial considering buying their own home, and they have to ramp up the amenities in these apartments to try to convince them to stay in that type of a living arrangement. And so it's kind of something you should know of, especially like here locally. There's areas, and I know specifically in Norfolk, I don't know Orlando, but it seems like the group that's always with Omar in Norfolk in his apartment complex are all millennials. But you know, they're all kind of in this, you know, they're going and looking for, trying to do certain things. So if you're building in an area or renovating a single family home or doing a rehab in an area that it seems like a lot of the younger buyers are starting to go to, you better make sure that there's specific kind of technological amenities and things that you know they're going to want, because you are competing with the local apartment complexes and multifamilies that are doing these things to try to draw those buyers away from you. So it's something to consider. Third thing is the Amazon effect. And listen, I hadn't even thought about this until I started reading this article and researching this, but we all know, for any of you guys that obviously we just went through Christmas, and I would be shocked if there's anybody who's not raising their hand, but who in here bought something from Amazon for Christmas? Lift your hand up high. Okay, so it's virtually 100% of the audience, okay? Some of you are just still holding out, like, I'm going to Sears, dang it. I don't care if they shut the doors, I'm going to Sears. Yep. You can go to Sears and Kmart and Toys R Us all you want, they ain't letting you in, okay? That door is shut, okay? But anyway, so a lot of us are buying things on Amazon. Well, you know, most used to be we would get in our little cars or even some of our big cars and drive to the store and get the stuff. But now the traffic on the roads, you notice, is not just FedEx and UPS. U-Hauls are getting a workout, because I had somebody delivering stuff to my house in a U-Haul truck, because now Amazon has outsourced their delivery, right? And so now there are U-Haul trucks going nonstop. I mean, everybody's got a box truck, and it's a big, heavy box truck running the roads all the time because everything is being delivered. And because of that, they are causing even more deterioration to the roads. And the studies now show that we only are spending 37% of what is necessary to keep our roads up to par. And so that is something to consider. If you're looking for a rental property and you're debating between, you know, you're going to hold it, you got a 3 or 5 or 10 year hold, you know, hold period with this thing, and you're debating between 2 or 3 houses, and one of them is in an area where the roads were just recently paved, and another one is in an area where there's potholes and it's not being taken care of. What's it going to look like in 3 or 4 or 5 more years? How much could that affect the value negatively? Because any of you guys that are realtors in here, we've all had the experience where that buyer wanted to go look at that house, and it looked like an awesome house, and you just did not understand why it had not sold yet. I mean, it was beautiful, it was priced right, it was awesome, and then all of a sudden to get there, the directions said turn off the paved road, right? And then it's like, and you're trying to get to the house, and there's potholes in there, and that, it doesn't matter how nice the house was, the idea of driving down that road to get to the house every single day immediately cut it off the list. And that happens in buyers' minds as well. So it's just something you got to consider. How are the roads? We're relying on municipalities. None of us can go out and afford to repave a road out in front of our rental, right? So it's something we need to be considering. And the last thing, of course, that we've heard about again a lot has been this affordability crisis. And so I think the trends here are, we're seeing that wages are growing now, but they have not over the last 10 years kept up with rising costs and the rising prices of homes. And so more and more people are spending a greater percentage of their income on housing. And I believe that probably that big frontier, it's going to be investors that are going to be filling that void, because even big institutional investors or large construction companies that are doing these big multifamily products, most of it is in the high end. And so it's going to be us kind of filling that need. There's some grants that are available here locally and around the country to kind of fill some of that affordable housing lack that's there. And I think that it's something we need to look into if there are grants available in our area, or just staying in that affordable price range and turning these homes over and getting them into new buyers, because that's really, I think, where there's going to be some big opportunity moving forward. So anyway, just a couple things I wanted to point out to you.